Welcome to this episode of the Million Dollar Mastermind. I'm Larry Weidel, and before we get started, if you want to know exactly how to win again and again, go to weidelonwinning.com/webinar now to watch something I've put together for you. Now let's get going into this episode of Million Dollar Mastermind. I'm back with Samy Kobrosly, and he is the snack man. And it's going to be fun to see how many varieties, new snacks he comes up with. We all benefit when Samy stays in there and comes up with new things because, let's face it, how many Cheetos can you eat in your life? How many potato chips? I mean, it gets boring after a while. You like new stuff, you know? And it's nice to have some new options. And Samy is committed to keep those rolling our way. Samy, we talked last time about getting the deal and what at Shark Tank and how that exploded and stuff like that. What did you do that you think was really, really smart, that you got the biggest boost from that experience? Meeting Mark Cuban, getting your hands on the money, get the exposure. What did you do that gave you the biggest allowed you to accelerate away from that experience with the maximum possible growth?
Yeah, no, I mean, clearly we still have a lot of growing left to do on our part, but, I think that what we had done is we had utilized that Shark Tank experience and not thinking, well, this is it, guys, we've made it, but thinking, all right, well, what is this going to do immediately for us? And then how can we capitalize on that and keep it? Because you're still going to need more wins down the line. You know what I mean? And
Right.
So at that point, we didn't really have any sort of e-commerce or any sort of online presence except for our website, and Thrive Market. But we realized, okay, this is a great opportunity. Like, we need to get Amazon up. We need to get, our own Shopify up. We need to get all this up and running before this opportunity, because this is a way that this is how we could really grasp that opportunity and use it to our best right now, right? The fact of the matter is, we could talk about the stores we were in, but are people really going to be watching the show and then remember that when they're at the grocery store next week?
Right, yeah.
No. So we knew, this is our chance. We've always been talking about getting on e-com, but we didn't want the slow roll and we didn't know this, but we knew that if this does well, we should actually have a pretty solid e-commerce business that will actually pay, so we can join and work with other partners and people that maybe understand it more than us just sitting here and shipping out stuff directly to Amazon FBA ourselves, And so we teamed up, and, getting that up and running the correct and proper way has not only been, super helpful as far as, growth is concerned, but also extremely helpful as far as, making sure that we didn't trip over ourselves, making sure that we didn't have all these crazy out of stocks, making sure that, we didn't all of a sudden, we knew enough about the ins and outs of Amazon to not mess it up that first time around. Because people don't realize that, any retailer, whether it's online or brick and mortar, you got one shot. When you mess up that one chance, it's going to be really hard for you to come back.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we've kind of focused on.
It's like a rock band. They lay an egg with their first album or two, and then nobody wants to talk to them. They're back mowing lawns and working in restaurants and sweeping leaves up. The thing is, you described your focus, and another way of saying that was you wanted to expand your outlets. To a large extent, you can break down all growth in business to expanding outlets where people have access. Pretty soon you're going to reach a limit to how many albums you're going to sell out of your mom's garage with your, your rock band, or out of your one store, or out of your one brewery, the chips, out of one location. Pretty soon you're going to max out, like McDonald's. That's why they don't have one big monster Tesla-sized factory where they sell McDonald's out, one place in the United States. They're not going to sell that many McDonald's. But if they take and get those little 1,000 square foot, 1,500 square foot facilities and cover the country with them, now you have unlimited growth. And so what you were doing was expanding your outlets where people could get their hands on your snacks and plus the name would be in front of more people on a more regular basis.
Mhm.
That was a distribution phase with the distribution phase, which you've done so well on, is like where Coca-Cola, they had the thing, once they knew they had a good product, their race was to get where no matter where you went in the United States, you never had, like when you got thirsty, you never had to go more than 50 steps where you could find a Coke machine. If it's a drugstore, a gas station, every floor of every building, of every hotel, or whatever that. And then once they did that, it was innovation. Once you're at that place, maybe you've had 50 Cokes the last 50 times you went. Maybe now you want to try orange drink, root beer, the lemon type thing. So, and so what you're doing, you hit the outlet lever, and you're also hitting the innovation lever, coming up with new ideas and things like that. And that's a formula that can take you a long way. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I think that when you talk about that formula, especially, I think for us, it's really, focusing on our backyard, like making sure that we're winning here. You know what I mean? Like you want to be ubiquitous, right? And like, especially when you're a small company, you only have limited marketing dollars, right? And so Coca-Cola, they're everywhere now, but let's be honest, if you really look at it, they started off like, in the Atlanta area, right?
Yeah.
And they started off like saturating that Atlanta market.
Right.
And they went up north a little bit more, and then they saturated that market, and they found a bottler up there that could do this, And that's kind of what we're doing. You got to like slowly grow because you only have limited marketing dollars. And so if you're there and you're trying to get 1,000 people out of 250 million to listen to you, that's not good chances. You know what I mean? But now if I'm trying to get 1,000 people out of only the 10 million in this region, all right, now we're talking. That's a little bit more achievable. You know what I mean? You're not, especially when you're talking about advertising nowadays, right? With Facebook and Instagram and all the social media advertising, like you can't sit there and have a national campaign because you're not gonna get anything from it. Yeah. So you focus that campaign and you focus your growth in the region that you're doing well in. And like, yes, we are sold and bought, throughout the United States, but if you come to the Mid-Atlantic Northeast, like you're gonna find us in a lot more places, and really focusing on that backyard and making sure that we win in our backyard and making sure that we're growing it smart, not just growing like the spray and pray is what we call that,
Right.
We're just like, let me get a bunch of things, just hope that one of them works. Like, no. And I think a lot of that is, that's thankful to our CEO, Kevin Blesey. Like, his strategy and, and his mindset of going in here is like, we need to be thoughtful in our growth, not just grow at all expenses. You know what I mean? Because you have those companies that raise millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We don't want to do that. We don't want to dilute everyone down. Like, we know that we can actually raise some money, use it intelligently, use it smartly, focus it on avenues that we know we can grow on, and grow that out of the water that way, and then start growing that way.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of information online, but there aren't a lot of people who've actually done something. In my case, I've actually built a successful business that's accrued over $5 billion in assets under management and has done well even during trying times. Now, if you want to know exactly how I've done this, go to whiteelementwinning.com/webinar now. I've compressed a decade of learning into 5 short weeks just for those of you who want to give yourself an incredible advantage and are tired of waiting and watching others move up.
It's amazing when you understand that concept, when you can look at the advertising that's done on billboards, magazine, TV, online, and see the ad agencies that don't even understand that principle. You can there's just no target to what they're talking about. They're just saying nonsense things. And it's like, that's, I've got a car. We believe in freedom and green trees, and now I'm going to go buy a Hyundai. What's the connection there? Not singly, not Hyundai, all you Hyundai lovers. I was just the first one that came. But when you go, we all have internal principles that we use to keep ourselves on track, because success is a discipline. You got to like Jerry Seinfeld talking about comedy. He said some comedians, he said, these newer comedians, I hear people say, if I don't feel funny today, I'm not going to write jokes. He said, or if I don't feel funny, if I'm not in a good mood, he said, I'm just not going to go and do any stand up or, go to the comedy club or anything like that. And he said, if I waited until I felt good, I'd never write one joke. I'd never go at any comedy club. He said, and it talks about the difference between an amateur and a pro. An amateur can do it at a high level, and sometimes will do it and will go out and beat a professional, like even in tennis. An amateur can beat in golf or tennis, can beat on a given day. But the professional is going to win 99 times out of 100 because they have taken that skill they've developed and moved it and combined it with a mental toughness and discipline to where they're going to do things that's going to cause them to be successful, whether they feel like they know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, but then they do it consistently whether they feel like it or not. And for that to stay on that kind of track, you've got to have things in your mind. They kind of like guide, like guide rails, it's like, no, I ain't going over there, because people will throw stupidity at you, well-meaning stupidity at you all the time. The wrong advice comes constantly. So how do you stay on track, man?
So our guide rails here, our Snacklins, is that we're very, very firm believers in Murphy's Law.
Okay.
Like, if it's going to go wrong, it's going to go effing wrong. And we believe that, that nothing ever goes right. And so we don't go into any situation, any day thinking like, hey, today's going to be a good day. And we yell at people all the time. Like if our CEO is like, guys, look at this, solid start to the day. Today's going to be great. We go now you just said it's going to be a good day. Something's going to go wrong. And so I wake up every day. If I was, if I was a performer, they say the show must go on, right? Or the show must go wrong, so they say on Parks and Rec. And that's how I feel something's going to go wrong today. And so as long as I'm ready for it, as long as I'm willing to do it, I know that. So not every day is going to be a perfect, I feel funny day, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I know that I have to be there ready to tell jokes anyways, right?
Yeah.
In that same sense. I know that whether or not it's a great day, I have to be there. So, oh shit, my microphone doesn't work. Okay, I just got to yell my jokes tonight. Machines are going to break back there. Things are not going to happen. Supplies are going to show up late. People are going to be sick or not coming at all or quit. You know what I mean? There's always going to be some hurdle that's thrown at you. And so I just go in every day. I wake up, I look at my phone first thing and I go, all right, don't have any missed phone calls or texts that are frantic. So looks like the day hasn't gone wrong yet, but I know it's going to happen at some point. And then I go to work and I continue working. I do my day to day. And sooner or later I go, there it is. All right, that's the mess up today. That's what we got to fix today. And, if you go in with that mentality, it makes the best days so much better than if you go in every day and be like, today's going to be great. And it's horrible. People come home, they go, I had the worst day ever. I go, you only had the worst day ever because you thought you were going to have the best day ever. If you're going every day thinking you're going to have the worst day ever, even the worst day ever is still just a normal day. You know what I mean?
It's sooner or later you got to realize everything is accomplished in spite of something going wrong or a lot of something's going wrong. So once you realize it's not my job to avoid having things go wrong. It's my job to make sure they don't stay wrong.
Yep. To fix when they do happen. To be there when someone comes in and they go, Sammy, we just had a customer say this, X, Y, and Z. I go, well, luckily, I know that's not true. This is actually what it is. Here's what you guys need to write back to them. This will calm them down. They go, oh, wow, how'd you know that? Because that's my job. My job is to sit there and to know the one answer to the question that no one else knows. You know what I mean? That's also is a testament to our team and how great they are is how they have learned so much that I don't get but an email every randomly from the marketing people or from this hey man, what's this? And I was like, oh dude, yeah, I did that years ago. All right, yeah, we need this for our FDA factory registration. I remember. You know what I mean? That's it.
Hey, what are you, of all the great things that's happened to you since you started this, what do you take the most joy or satisfaction or just means the most to you that you were able to do one of those things? Which one stands out to you? Because
Honestly,
I know it's going to be what happens next and all of that, but
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
there are milestones that like I just can't believe this happened. You know, one thing
No,
is
I
going
still
to China
say,
and things like that. You know,
yeah, I know, but I still to this day, like, nothing makes me feel better and nothing makes me feel like I've accomplished more. Nothing makes me prouder than when someone goes, "Oh, dude, these things are dope. Oh man, these things taste great."
isn't that
Like, oh,
great?
I just had them and my kid ate the whole bag. And I was like, yeah, bud, that's what I
Yeah.
like. All right. Like, that's what makes me coming back for more. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't changed the world yet. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna change the world. I'm not gonna cure any crazy geopolitical problem. But the fact is, I can give you a good, delicious snack, and I can make your day like 1% better with that. And that's made me super happy. Like, that's all I want to do, you know?
Well, I mean, you said it well. You hit the nail on the head, Sammy. So much fun to talk to you. Now, here's let's get a deal. Uh, Number one, two deals. Number one, when I come through your area, I'm gonna give you a call and stick my head in and take a quick peek around your factory, and you can kind of show me the thing live if you're
You come
agreeable.
down. Anytime you're in DC area and you want to come to the Snacktory, brother, you just hit me up.
And the other thing is, I know the next 12 months, 6 to 12 months are going to be mind blowing for you in terms of the thing, not just the success you have, but the things you're going to learn and the excitement you're going to gain about your life and understanding what's happening to you and being able to continue to make more of a positive impact with the decisions and the responses you have, and that can only come from mileage. And so I'm looking forward to that for you, and looking forward to us getting back down the road and seeing kind of throw these things up in the air and see what we're learning, man.
Dude,
Doing it
thank you,
again.
man. Right now, I appreciate that. I hope everything that you said comes true, but right now I'm focused on like the broken electrical outlet I got to fix in the corner over there. So,
All right, thanks so much,
all
Sammy.
right, brother. We'll talk soon, man.
This has been really brightened my afternoon, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Take
Absolutely,
care.
likewise.
If you enjoyed what you've heard and are dead serious about finding out for yourself exactly how this works in the real world, I've taken the most valuable business lessons I've learned over 40 years and put them into something for you to watch. Go to whiteelemwinning.com/webinar now in order to move up as fast as possible. I'm Larry Weidel, and I run the $1 Million Mastermind. Go, go, go.